One important concept that serves as a baseline for this course is that compromise plus strategy is collaboration. Since negotiation is a skill that can be developed, we achieve better outcomes if we utilize strategy. Strategy is the differentiating factor from settling and getting a so-so outcome to achieving a true win-win value-add outcome. As we learned from Dr. Hunter, compromise is never the best outcome. While both sides get something, they never truly get what they want. In a collaborative negotiation that utilizes strategy, both sides seek to find creative solutions and expand their pool of resources. One of the first myths that we busted during this class was that you should never make the opening offer. This is a myth. Making the opening offer can actually help you. It allows you to have control over the start of the negotiation process and can set an anchor in the range that you want to secure an agreement in. The anchoring bias refers to the tendency to rely too much on the first piece of information you receive. So if you do make the first offer in your favor, there's a higher chance that the negotiation can benefit you. One important point to note is that when the other party does make the first offer, it should not change what you had prepared. Stick to the number you prepared in the negotiation prep and focus on making an effective counteroffer that moves away from the opening offer. When you are in a negotiation, it's important to recognize that sometimes it doesn't go as planned and you do have to take your backup plan. This is the BATNA, the best alternative to a negotiated agreement. As the negotiation progresses, the BATNA can change as you begin to realize both your interest and the other party's interest. It can also grow as you expand the possible resources in the negotiation. The BATNA can be an advantage in the negotiation and should only be shared in certain circumstances. If the BATNA is weak, revealing it to the other party could show desperation and could put you in a position to be taken advantage of. If the BATNA is strong, revealing it to the other party could have them try and meet or exceed your other option and secure an agreement. You should reveal your BATNA if it's strong. If the negotiation is at a standstill, revealing your BATNA could create a sense of urgency or raise the standards in the current negotiable issues. In all cases, you should plan accordingly for the negotiation and recognize that the BATNA is not static. Throughout this course, we learned that there are two main negotiating strategies: the integrative and the distributive strategies. The integrative approach is more collaborative and focuses on creating value for both parties. This strategy aims to reach a Pareto efficient outcome for both parties where there is truly a win-win agreement. Integrative strategies have a more long-term mindset than distributive strategies, and they look to maintain or better the relationship with the other party. Integrative negotiators are typically trusting and open of their negotiation partner, whereas the distributive strategy tries to claim value for self. One interesting point mentioned during class was that we tend to view negotiations as more competitive than they really are. We don't have to have this win-lose situation where we're always trying to claim value for ourselves. There are opportunities to choose to have an integrative mindset and find a collaborative outcome that betters both parties. When preparing for a negotiation, it is important to understand your own interests as well as the other parties. The interest is the reason why you want what you want. If we're looking at this understanding in views of an iceberg, the interest is the deeper reason behind what you want. The interest is more motivating than positional bargaining. With positions, it's just the tip of the iceberg. It's just the reason of what you want. It's no underlying purpose. Positional bargaining can lead to tunnel vision in high emotion situations where you're unable to see the big picture and find creative solutions. To overcome positional bargaining, we need to ask more and better questions of our negotiating partners and look for overlapping interest. One final point that I'll discuss is the research regarding gender differences in negotiating settings. Research found that men tend to initiate negotiations 2 to 3 times more than women do. One of the components that could contribute to this is that there are connotations tied to negotiating. These connotations, typically for women, are viewed in a negative light. Additionally, women who advocate for others rather than themselves tend to do better. Finally, if the negotiation is competitive and the parties must claim value for themselves, men tend to perform better, which is also reflected in the point above. With so many differences in the negotiation just on the basis of gender, Both parties should take steps to adequately prepare and overcome these challenges. One of the first ways to accomplish this is by reframing. By reframing, you're able to change the language of the negotiation and recreate a label that is an opportunity to ask. Reframing the negotiation helps women feel empowered to create conversations to ask for what they want. Limiting information sharing also enhances differences, so we must learn to ask questions and understand our interests to build trust and allow parties to create better outcomes by fully understanding interest. And finally, acknowledging gender stereotypes and differences creates a level playing field and can lead to a more collaborative environment. Negotiation is a skill that can be developed. Through adopting strategy and asking open-ended questions, negotiators can develop more creative and beneficial outcomes by broadening the scope of possible outcomes as a result of brainstorming and information sharing.